So I wondered if they was a fan of late country and was writing late country all the way up, but they run out of glass. They've got their spacing wrong. Now, you can't polish glass scratches away with your normal traditional compounds and pads for paint. You need a specialist product. Guys, something a bit unusual, a bit unique, and actually a first for me. And I've been detailing, correcting cars. Before it was called detailing, 1819, so I'm talking over 30 years ago. I've never seen this before. It's a scratch in glass. Now, you can't polish glass scratches away with your normal traditional compounds and pads for paint. You need a specialist product. Lake Country Manufacturing, these dedicated pads, which I'll get onto in a minute. Now, what's the first? I've never seen this before. Normally it's just wear. It's got wear on the front windscreen, the windshield, from the wiper action. And you sometimes get these straight lines, which I have in this car. But what's more obvious and stand out, someone's actually scratched a word. I can't say what that word is. The camera will show you. But as I work for Lake Country, you genuinely cannot believe this. It's as though someone's tried to write country. So I wondered if they was a fan of late country and was writing late country all the way up, but they run out of glass. They've got their spacing wrong. But anyway, that can't stay there. We've made his car shiny, we've finished the correction. There's quite a lot more processes to do on this car, but the paint's been corrected now. I can't believe that. And we didn't actually know that was on the car. The car arrived, as we was looking at the car, inspecting the car, we saw this word, we washed it, and it's a bit obvious. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mask up the delicate areas and stop all the splashing of the process of glass cutting, because it can be quite messy. And I don't want to get contaminants everywhere around the rest of the car. So what I'm going to do now is get on with some masking up. So the equipment we need to remove that word from the glass, with some ceram oxide compound. We need the Raylon pads, glass polishing pads, 3-inch. We need some water, and I've got a little container because what I'm going to do is, this is a powder form, I mix a solution up, put it into this bottle, and then we need a rotary machine with a 3-inch Velcro backing. Now I'm going to go and mask the car. Hi guys, as you can see, the car is now masked up. I've masked it for the simple reason is the car's been corrected. Generally, I would try and do this process at the beginning of detailing, but you might get an instance where you just want to remove scratches in glass and the car's actually new or been detailed previously. So in that case, I would mask it up. If you haven't got this masking sheet, you can just lay sort of wrapping paper towels or microfiber towels or anything really, even newspaper sheet. Just lay something across and down the car to stop the slurry splattering. There is another way of masking up, which you could use really wide tape. What you do, if you had an area where you're about to polish, you can actually mask, fold the tape round, and when it does, it lifts up, and then you can build up a box. And you actually build a box up of masking tape. So if you wanted to do it like this, you can turn it round and you create a box. And then do the same, and then I get another piece of tape, just a bit of a top tip here, and then you go round that box, building that edge up. So I could do that if I was going to literally polish a little area there, a little scratch. I'd add another polisher in there. And what you get is, it's not splattering the slurry everywhere. But, so masking tape, you could build up a little sort of, almost little barrier. But because we've got this going all the way down the window here, I've got such a large area, it made more sense just to mask up the car. So let's get to it. So I've got my Raylon glass cutting 3-inch disc on there, rotary machine. I'm using my ceram oxide cutting compound, which I've already pre-mixed into a bottle with water. It's not like a normal foam pad or a microfiber pad. You can't just pour it on and expect it to soak in. So what I'm going to do is put probably 3 blobs. This is a very runny substance. It's water-based. It's just mixed with water. It's a cutting compound, a mineral basically, mixed with water. Now, there is a lot of fear that you could break glass when it gets hot. So at the moment, we got it 52 degrees Fahrenheit or 11 degrees C. So yes, the glass is going to warm up, but as long as it warms up slowly and gradually, there's no thermal shock, there's no thermal loading, so the glass won't shatter. So what I'm going to do a little strip through the middle, just so we leave either side and see, like, we've got a before and after basically. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wipe that area. Now notice it doesn't really wipe off. You want water, it's a water-based product, but before we spray water on there, we don't want to get hot and cold mixed together. So it's 34 degrees or 92 degrees in Fahrenheit or 34 in degrees Celsius. But it's not hot, I can touch it in my hand. That could get so hot that when I spray water on, it smokes. So I would never flood it with cold water now because you could shatter the glass. But you can see a little mist, see it smoking a bit, let it run down. You'll notice as I wipe it clean, you can see this staining on the windows, where that middle part there that I've just polished is clean. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some alcohol. I'll use another cloth. I'm not worried about, there's a residue of cutting compound there. That will come off the next time I polish. What I'm looking for is if there's an improvement. Now, I'm not actually going to bring the camera in yet. What we'll do it one more pass, then bring the camera in, because almost that was a primed up pad. It's really what it's done. I now need to put some more products on and repeat the process. But I had it at very low speed, rotary, not even really near the 1000 RPM. I'm sticking to a very, very low speed. It's a very abrasive process, so I don't need high speed in this case. I was putting the medium pressure on though. Let's quickly take a temperature reading. 96 degrees Fahrenheit, 33 degrees. I go down the corner, it's 11, compared to 34 in Fahrenheit, 96 to 53. So it's warmed up. So again, I'm not going to suddenly spray loads and loads of cold water on and give it a thermal shock. But if I remove that residue there, so this doesn't distract from the light, and see that there's just the tiniest scratches left. When I run up and down, I can see that most of the lettering has gone. The obvious lettering here, and then it disappears, and then it's back again. So I can see I need to work on a couple of little areas, and that's going to be fixed, and then I've got to move on to the next section. Key tip advice here, I would never try and do all of that in one area. It's too big a task. I'd always stick to small little areas, work at one bit at a time. But so we've got a few left over of the zigzag of the U and the N is left. We've got part of the N there. There was the U. I'm not going to say what that was and that was because it spells a rude word. But so I'm going to do it once more. I probably might need 2 more passes, but let's see. The maximum I had the rotary running was 1000 RPM. I've picked up a rotary that actually runs very, very slow. It's designed for a very large pad. It doesn't have to be a special rotary that's got more torque for a larger pad. It just happens to be, that's one I picked up, because for me, I can start this very, very slowly and work the product so it doesn't splatter everywhere. And as you've seen, I actually didn't need to mask it up. But as you start to put more and more product on this pad, it will saturate. So if you want to clean them, I rinse them under the water. They're water-based. Rinse them under the tap, and then you're good to go again. I've got a really clogged one here. I've got 2 clogged ones here. And then I'm going to do it again. Now what I've got some dusting. So the heat from the cutting action is drying out the water. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a tiny, tiny spritz of water to this pad. And that will keep the temperatures down, help disperse the product. I did say it's probably going to take 2 more passes. I mean, even if there was the tiniest little mark left, at least you can't actually read what the word was. That's the key thing here. So I'm going to wait for that to cool down. I'm sure it's even hotter this time round. 128 degrees Fahrenheit or 54 degrees C. I can touch it, I can hold it. I've had glass hotter than that. Been no danger, hasn't shattered, hasn't broken. There was a myth years ago that you can't polish glass even with a cutting compound. I think it was even a refining pad, actually, a refining compound, really, really long time ago. I remember reading it on a big social media platform, probably one of the only ones at the time was Detailing World. People are saying never ever touch the glass with a polishing machine. Well, you wouldn't use what I've just done on paint. You'd rip the paint off very, very fast. And so it's not doing any harm. In polishing or cutting glass for decades, never had an issue. I was actually, I think the first time I ever done it was taking wiper marks out of my own car when I was trying to restore it about 20 years ago. So again, I'm going to just introduce slowly, because it's smoking, it's steaming, just to let it cool down gradually to wipe the dust off and the slurry. And if you've got any leftover residue compound and you can't find it's easy to wipe off, the easiest thing, top tip, is just wipe back over briefly with the machine. So I'm going to use the alcohol now, give it a good clean. Making good progress now, really gets in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the next areas. And I'll sort of go up the top and the bottom, keep working at it until it's all gone. Now, why, you may ask, am I using such a small pad when there's such a large area? Well, I could show you that obviously we have 5-inch discs. It's a bit of physics really. That surface area is going to create a larger area, so less pressure. So there's a larger contact patch, and that creates less pressure, which results in less cut, which means I have to press harder. Then, because of the diameter, it's on a rotary, and it's such an aggressive cut, it really tries to pull you around and fight you. So the larger the diameter, there's more torque. So there's more torque pushing against you. So I find that harder to control. Now, I would use a 5-inch disc for your general light scratches. It might be a 1 light pass over or 2 passes for your general wear and tear. But where someone's actually vandalised this and really scratched it hard, I need to get more vicious, more aggressive with the pad, so it makes sense to use a smaller pad. It's simple physics. That, with the same pressure from me or weight from me, downward force is going to cut less. And then also we have, for me, if I put lots and lots of compound on this disc, it's running faster on the outside because it's just travelling at a greater rate of knots than it is in the middle. It's just physics again. So that means it's a bit like if you've ever been on a roundabout and you try to hold on when you was a kid and got spun around. It was really hard to hold on the outside, but inside he was actually going very slowly. So I've got more chance of splattering. It's going to be much harder to control for this. But this I would use if this just had the light scratches and I just wanted to do a couple of passes. So basically I'm trying to get more intense and precise by using the 3-inch pad. That's simply why I'm using a smaller machine or the smaller backing. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to do loads and loads of polishing now, so-called glass cutting. It's probably going to take me another 15, 20 minutes to remove that. Might be 10, but 10 to 15 minutes. And then we'll come back and we'll show you what it's going to look like. Thank you for watching.